Previously, we learned about major and minor currencies using the example of a shopping list at the supermarket. Now that we have learned that currencies are traded in pairs, we will take a closer look at which currency pairs are considered majors and which ones are minors. The currency pairs listed here are known as the majors. You'll notice that all of these pairs include the US dollar on one side and another major currency on the other side. So we have Euro dollar, US dollar against Japanese yen, pound against US dollar Swiss franc, US dollar Canadian dollar, Australian dollar US dollar, and New Zealand dollar against US dollar. These pairs are the most liquid and widely traded in the Forex market. We will discuss the advantages of trading currency pairs with high liquidity and volume in later lectures. It's worth noting that some currency pairs have nicknames used by traders. For example, pound against US dollar is often referred to as the cable. This can be helpful to know. Why? Well, so you can brag with your friends and say, "Hey bro, I'm trading the cable today." Of course, this is not the reason. It can be important to know the nicknames because sometimes you will find them when reading Forex news or market analysis, so by learning them, you will know what they're talking about. Another thing you may have noticed is that the US dollar is sometimes the base currency and sometimes the quote currency. So you may wonder, why is it Euro dollar and not US dollar euro? Same for the others. For example, why is it US dollar Canadian dollar and not the other way around, so Canadian dollar US dollar? In order to avoid confusion, central banks and financial institutions around the world have established a sort of order for currencies to be quoted. So this is the order. We have Euro, Pound, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, US dollar, Canadian dollar, Swiss franc and Japanese yen. So if, for example, we want to look at the exchange rate between Euro and New Zealand dollar, it is likely that your broker will quote it as Euro against New Zealand dollar. So Euro first as a base currency and New Zealand dollar second as a quote currency. This is because most of the financial institutions around the world follow this order to quote currency pairs. But enough with major currency pairs, we also have minor currency pairs. Minors do not include the US dollar, but they include two other major currencies. They are also known as cross-currency pairs or simply crosses, and example of minor currency pairs include Euro-Pound, or Pound against Japanese yen, or Australian dollar against Swiss franc, so any combination of two major currencies but not the US dollar. Finally, we have exotic currency pairs, which include one major currency and the currency of an emerging economy. At the time of recording this lecture, examples of them will be Singapore, South Africa or Norway. So examples of exotic currency pairs will be US dollar against Singapore dollar, US dollar against the South African rand, or US dollar against Norwegian krona. So you have a lot of currency pairs that you can trade, and you might be wondering, which one should I trade? Well, when starting out, my suggestion is to focus on the majors. As I said, majors tend to be very liquid currency pairs with high volumes, which provides some protection against sudden spikes or spread widening, which are topics that we're going to cover during the course. Later on, you can consider adding minor currency pairs to your watch list, but I will definitely recommend avoiding exotic currency pairs for the time being.